Hi there. I
Hi.
am CP. I'm one of the guests on this hour of the Creepy Channel Crawl 2019. I am CP of WILIscredia, one guest, also joined by Dice Rollen. Why don't you say hi, Dice?
Hi. If you don't know who I am, you will soon.
And we're just taking
So
over
get used
somebody
to it.
else's channel. So go ahead, Emily. Why don't you tell us about this channel?
Thank you for taking the reins, delightful husband. Right, so hello, welcome to my channel. This is Emily's Adventures in Horrorland, where I review horror movies pretty much and other horror adjacent media for your viewing displeasure or whatever. And for today's installment of the Creepy Channel Crawl, thank you again to the both of you for agreeing to be on this thing.
I have no choice.
She held me at gunpoint.
CP is here. We're doing a load of insane graphics and making it look less bootleg than it would have been if it was just me. And Dice Rollen is here to provide insightful thoughts, opinions.
Hi.
Yep. To do whatever Dice does.
Filler.
Filler.
Yeah. And there's a link to their channel in the description below, and also a link to the next person in the chain, who is Kweeny Todd, a very good friend of mine. So, what are we talking about today?
Gateway
I
to
guess-
horror.
Yeah, I guess so.
What was your gateway drug? What was your DOC? So I guess since I'm the oldest, I'll get started. I'll say that it was happenstance. My uncles, who are a little bit older than me, they're more like brothers. My youngest uncle is only 6 years older than me, and they were watching a whole bunch of scary stuff that I wasn't allowed to watch, and just in happenstance, I was walking, around the house, walked in the living room, and they told me to get out. And well, you tell me I can't do something, I want to know what's going on. And there's this man with a hockey mask, and he's chasing this scantily clad,
Who it was?
sweaty girl, and I'm like, ooh, what is all this?
I'd like to see more of this, please.
But why is he playing hockey? I don't understand what happens. So it was Friday the 13th Part 4, the final chapter. Just fascinated with so many different levels. It was the end. I know it was like the second half. So it's when Jason's running around in the rain, and something just fascinated me about that movie, and I had to keep going. Which while I have the floor, it's that in combination with a music video that I think. I want to say it was like 84, 85, the Rockwell Somebody's Watching Me video with vocals by Michael Jackson.
MJ?
How could I forget that? Yeah.
That dude,
Yeah, that was on MTV, and I remember thinking, wow, that's pretty goddamn scary. I need to see more shit like this. And I don't know. I guess Friday the 13th, the final chapter, and Rockwell, Somebody's Watching Me. That fucking hand at the end that got me good.
Yeah. More relatable horror. That he's scared of the IRS, the shower, the mainly the IRS. I think.
Yeah, maybe. Big fear.
I can't imagine why Michael Jackson was drawn to this particular song and wanted to guest on it. This tale of a paranoiac who's scared to leave the house.
Wasn't
doesn't seem to be
Rockwell
up his alley,
related
right?
to some bigwig or something?
Rockwell.
Yeah, he was somebody's son or nephew or something.
Yeah, I want to say Barry Gordy. No, I can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, he was the son of somebody, which is probably how he got his foot.
The son of someone important.
Yeah. He knew a
Yeah.
guy
In the
from a
industry.
place and a thing, and
Great music video though, very genuinely spooky in a Halloween costume kind of way. Like a lot of really detailed sets and everything. What about you, Dice? What was your gateway horror film, or not necessarily film? Anything that
Well, I spent the day thinking about it. Actually, it's been like years, honestly, that I was trying to pinpoint what happened. But on the subject of horror, I kind of figure that I have always, and when I say always, I mean from the point of recognition of things to now have loved Halloween, and I think I lumped horror subconsciously into that and didn't realize it.
Oh, you mean the holiday?
Until, yes, the holiday.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, the holiday. But I did not realize it until like 2 years into my channel when someone who was trying to help me figure out what to do said, "You seem to like horror. Why don't you go with that?" Brilliant. But I'm gonna have to give thanks to my mom for starting me on that. She really kind of enjoys horror, maybe not as much as I do now, but she loved to read Stephen King, Dean Koontz, and she had my brother and I sit down and watch Gremlins when I was like 8. So I didn't like it so much at that point. I was terrified.
Too young for it, maybe?
Yeah. Well, I was scared of the Goonies and Jumanji, so...
Oh, fuck, Jumanji, yeah. That was... The memory of Jumanji is always a lot worse than... Yeah. I don't know. When I go back to it and I see the animatronic spiders, I was like, really? I was scared of those?
Yeah.
John Kyle Stanton, $10 in this YouTube super chat. Thank you, John. He says, Dice,
John,
hey.
Hello, John. How are you? Good evening.
We meet again.
Yes.
Emily, we were discussing a music video. Please help me segue into this glorious video that I have.
Sure, absolutely. Well, I suppose like Dice, I was lucky enough to have a step-parent in my case who was very on board with the Halloween thing. We threw parties, we erected miniature guillotines in the front garden and, stuff for trick-or-treaters to come across. It was great. And, so we had horror playlists, songs that we would play. Thriller was absolutely at the top of that list. And it's such a landmark in creepy music videos. I think there must have been some kind of golden age when this kind of music could exist, because the synthesizers had that cold, creepy sound anyway. Todd in the Shadows goes into further detail in one of his videos, but yeah, Thriller was just quite remarkable. I've never seen anything quite like it before or since. That it was effectively a short film in and of itself.
Yeah, there's like a 20-minute version of it, actually.
Yeah. That was the version we saw a lot on, I forget which music channel it was, The Box, probably.
Oh my God, music television? Yeah. What is that?
Can we have it back? Can we go back? Can we get it? Can we do
that? Sorry if anyone in the chat is getting their messages censored. I'll try and keep up with that.
Dino, with the $1.99 super chat, he says a smaller hello, Dice.
So I shall regard just the same. Hello.
This is the Dice Transition Network, apparently.
I'm fine.
Everybody, Dice is here.
If people love me.
Well, what about movies, Emily? I mean, we kind of talked about music videos, but film. Like, what was the movie that definitely got you going?
Oh gosh, the movie.
Well, maybe not the movie, but like the first step. Like, ooh. Sure.
There was a lot of creepy TV I saw. The Twilight Zone, I was a big fan of that. Tales of the Unexpected, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. I suppose the earliest my curiosity was piqued was kind of when I was 14 and I had a friend called Sam who one day in French class, he just thought he would tell me the plot of every single Saw film ever made. And it was almost like I had watched them because he went into such gloriously gory detail. And when you're that age, that's what you want to see. You want to see blood and gore and spectacle. So
yeah, things you're
I was kind of intrigued by it. Yeah.
The forbidden.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we had the DVDs at home. We had the DVD covers. Those were always intriguing. Oh. I'd go and sneak a look at them. Oh, here's someone's head on a scale. Here's his fingers. Oh,
yeah, that's something that I think modern day you millennials, you dang rascally kids with your VODs and your Blu-rays will never really truly appreciate about a trip to the video store, a Friday night Blockbuster Ron. Oh, John Kyle Stanton, $5 in super chat. He says, Dino, F off. And now they're fighting with super chats. $10 from John Kyle Stanton. Dice, I'm sorry for Dino's what? Chump behavior.
And now it's kicking off.
And then Dino, $2 says, John, fuck you. Well, that was exciting.
Please, there's enough for me to go around now.
No, man, keep it civil.
She has her own channel, guys. If you want to fight over there, that's it's
yes,
it's
if
down
you
below.
want to throw your money at each other there, I would be more than happy to pick that. Anyway, but no, you're right, CP, on like Blockbuster and everything. I distinctly remember as a kid, there used to be a Blockbuster next to this store that we would go to, a grocery store that also no longer exists. And we would drive by it, but I never ever stepped foot into a Blockbuster, and I feel I missed that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I mean, it was fine. It was just a lot of going around, and the family would be saying, "Hey, let's get I don't know, the Mask, or let's all watch Kronk's New Groove."
But the difference is, like, now you can like on VOD you can click and watch the trailer. Back then it was just like, wow, that cover looks pretty intense. I'm just gonna go based on the It's
judging a video by its cover.
That would be my first impression of things. I'd walk around Blockbuster and I'd go, "Ooh, here's the cover for Teeth. I heard people talking about this in school. This looks mildly suggestive. I wonder what scrape she's going to get into."
Cecil of the Horror Show, $2. Ladies, calm down. Thank you, Cecil. Freaky Girls Live, $2. God damn it, Dino. Thank you, everybody. Sorry, don't mean to cut any of the women off.
Yeah.
Ever.
So.
I'll be working.
I'm glad we all kind of agree on this point that a lot of the tantalizing temptation of horror movies came from the covers.
Oh yeah, that was the risk. Yeah. Like, I can't tell you how many times. What the hell is the one with the girl with the ass cheek hanging out of her back is to the cover. It's a really. I
Spit on Your Grave.
I Spit on Your Grave. That's it. That cover.
I knew it.
That was the movie that I never watched, but being a little kid was just like, what is going on with this? Why is this next to Friday the 13th? And man, what's going on with this girl? Why can't I see her head and any of that? It was quite intriguing. That some really good covers that I'm actually drawing a blank on.
The Eye with Jessica Alba was interesting to me. Wreck. The Descent.
Wreck based on the cover?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes, he did.
Is that the one I'm thinking of, or is it Quarantine? It might be Quarantine.
Well, Wreck was the original. Quarantine was the American remake.
With Jennifer Carpenter.
I haven't seen it yet. What a surprise. Anyway.
John Kyle Stanton, $5 in super chat. CP, why is Dino allowed to pay $1.99 chump change? And then Dino with $1.99 says, "Don't bring God into this, Laura." Very, very appreciative, guys. Thank you very much. We'll be sure to spread the wealth to Dice, however we can figure it out. After YouTube takes their vicious chunk.
After YouTube is done, we don't know how we're going to divide a penny, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah. So my mother wasn't big into horror. I don't know. A lot of it was kind of being gently eased in through the clever use of psychological thriller horrors, which I don't even know if you could call them horror. Some people would put Hannibal Lecter in a list of horror icons. Some people wouldn't.
Yeah, that's a really strict thriller, that movie.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Stuff like The Sixth Sense or Misery. What's on my list here? Seven. It is very... For something that's supposed to be very grounded in reality, it does have some...
Misery isn't in the cock-a-doodie thriller category.
You don't think so?
No, I just wanted to quote cock-a-doodie, whatever the hell she said in that movie. John Kyle Stanton, $10. F his $1.99. Dino, $1.99. John Chump changes 300% on the dollar. Ooh.
We're bringing math into this?
He's saying some people don't need to spend to show off. All right, so they're having a little super chat war, and we appreciate it.
All right, I'm curious. Let us know in the comments if you think Misery is a thriller or a horror.
It's not.
I know it's Stephen King, but he's done movies that kind of straddle the line.
And you can't count the hammer scene with the feet. Like, that's just gruesome. It's a gruesome scene
Body
in a
horror.
movie. It's not. I mean, it's a thriller. I don't. So then, Hand That Rocks the Cradle is a horror too. By then, that logic.
Well, she's not really a slasher. It's more of a home invasion movie. I don't think you could call it. It's tense in a way, but it's not horrifying.
But Misery's a home invasion backwards.
He invades her home.
It's kidnapping.
technically.
It's adult kidnapping.
Thank you, Sandra.
Sandra, thank you, $1.
Okay, what about something like Jacob's Ladder? What would you call that?
That's just,
Mindfuck.
yeah, PTSD the movie. Yeah.
Or something like what's it called? The war movie that's also a horror.
Forrest Gump?
No, what?
Excuse me. I think you saw the wrong movie.
No.
Is it the Tom Cruise one, or is it Apocalypse Now, or?
Oh shit!
Oh, just from last year, Overlord.
No, it's
Yeah, it's
They're on the beaches and
Saving
war
Private Ryan?
itself is a no. It begins with D.
D-Day. Dick
No.
Stack. What?
Oh.
A beach. That's Normandy. Jesus H. Christ! John Kyle Stanton, $50 in the super chat. He says, "Dice, you're smoking."
I've never seen that color before.
Really?
I know. Thanks to
I thought
John
I
Kyle
blew everything
Stanton,
out.
we get interesting colors. Thank you, John. It's much appreciated.
Thanks for the colors. Those are fun. I like
Yeah.
those.
Do you guys know what war movie she's talking about? See, Ben, I thought it was Overlord too.
It's from a few years ago. It's not The Darkest Hour. It's
Deliverance.
No.
From Sandra and Deliverance.
Donnie
Wrong war.
Darko. Donnie
God
Brasco.
damn it. I can't
Deliverance?
even remember who's
Dan
in it. I'm
Yankees.
drawing a complete blank right now.
I'm afraid war movies are not my thing.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah, give us a
helpful.
little bit more than war movie. What else happens in the movie?
There's a scene that they're in the submarine and they're arguing about who goes up, and they're on the beaches of. It's
Oh, the Christopher Nolan movie?
like, yeah, what's it called?
Dunkirk?
That's the one.
Oh.
Dunkirk.
You think that's
I knew
a
it began
horror?
with a D.
You think that's a horror?
If you view war itself as, you know, the evil in the movie, I mean, it's kind of, I don't know where the fuck I was going with this. I'm sorry, everybody.
No,
I think I kind of understand what you're talking about. Sometimes I lump those into psychological, I guess, but that's
Yeah.
just.
Yeah, so I think there's some overlap. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's. I don't know.
Yeah, well, yeah. Brian, friend of the channel, Brian Lomax Movie Talk. Also the movie evangelist. He has 2 channels. He says that most movies, if they deal with some sort of psychological horror, should be considered horror. Brian is of the mentality that if it's, you know, if it's got comedy, it should be considered comedy. Like, you know, Saving Private Ryan technically could be considered a comedy because it has comedy in it. That's a little far-fetched if you ask me, but it depends on, you know, who you're asking. If somebody's horrified of, you know, the beach, you know, any regular old beach movie could be a horror movie to them. It's what triggers your shit mentally.
Sure, I guess you could argue that.
John Costin, $2. Maurice Vist, $1. Thank you.
I'm sorry, everyone else in the chat, if we're not getting to you. It's
Colors.
Just blinded by the mesmerizing
yeah.
colors.
There's a whole rainbow going on.
Yeah.
So I guess something I wanted to touch on with this live stream is if you were to bring someone into the horror genre, if you were going to introduce them, what would you start with? You could consider the big 3 as integral to everyone's, you know, that's essential to your horror education. Freddy, Michael, and the other one. They're just...
You will be shunned.
Good luck on the couch tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're the 3 that are constantly being brought up online. You know, who would win if you know, these out of these 2 other 3? They're iconic. They're someone everyone needs to be introduced to at some point. But what I want to know is, would you lead with them, or would that be too much?
And, Dice, what do you think? Because I think the 2 of you have very parallel journeys that you're going on. Because Dice, every time, at least on Instagram when I'm stalking you there, you're always watching something that's ginormous and a big deal, and apparently you're watching it for the first time. And Emily, of course, there's a ton of stuff that she's experiencing for the first time. So I guess, what do you think about that, Dice? Because you're taking the journey.
Bringing in the, shall we say, the three faces of horror that everybody jumps to when you say horror.
Dracula, Frankenstein.
Yeah. Yes. I don't think I would lead with those. I think it's not a bad thing to start with, but to a normie who maybe isn't used to horror, I think it would be better to not scare them away and just kind of ease them in, maybe with some universal horror movies, because those are classics.
Yeah.
Some black and white stuff that maybe they'll go, oh yeah, I'm used to Frankenstein. Let's see what Frankenstein really is.
I know him from the Halloween costumes.
Yeah, from the cereal box.
Yeah, you have a point, and I suppose the Universal monsters by today's standards would be a bit tamer. So, in the name of not scaring people off,
yeah,
maybe better suited.
Yeah, something like the Invisible Man, which perhaps you might want to scoot on over to WILIscredia at 7 p.m. later to hear us talk about it for a full hour, Dino and I.
7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You may have to convert for your time zone.
What about Psycho? Yeah, that was going to be my next point. So there are other, I think, classic horror films that aren't necessarily the big three that I might go to. The Blair Witch Project. What do I have written down here? Poltergeist. The Shining might be a bit heavy, but it is one of those everyone brings up.
Some people may find it a little slow, but
one more time,
if they find it intriguing.
Dice, repeat yourself.
Sorry. Some people may find The Shining kind of slow, but they might find it intriguing if they're patient.
I wasn't doing that for dramatic effect. You skipped on my end, that's all.
No. Understand, don't worry.
I'm sorry, repeat yourself? That's crazy. Well, what about,
do it, but slower.
What about, does age matter? Because, if it's a kid, maybe it might be Monster Squad, maybe The Gate.
Yeah, or even Scooby-Doo, to be quite honest. I mean, that was one that I was
of course,
brought up on. So, and also Scooby-Doo Zombie Island, excuse me.
Oh.
For kids. Zombie Island was good. I liked, what was it, Alien Invaders? The ones where those hippies turn up and there's a weird subplot with another talking dog. Yeah.
Sean Kyle Stanton, $20 in the super chat. Sorry, Dice, I was away for a few doing chin. No, he says chim ups, not chin ups.
Impressive. I don't know what a chim is. Intriguing.
Are you afraid of the dark and Goosebumps?
Oh, good point. Yeah.
Thanks, Ben.
Some would say Ghost Rider, but I probably wouldn't.
The Nick Cage movie?
No, it was a terrible plug. It was an awful plug for a show that I was...
I understand.
Oh, that Ghost Rider.
Yeah, the floating dot. Yeah, that's not... I was just trying to be an asshole.
No.
Success.
Corey's right. In the first hour, they discussed introducing kids to horror, and I think that matters quite a bit. If you've had anything spooky in your childhood, you might be more open to that kind of thing. Pan's Labyrinth. I never saw Pan's Labyrinth. I know the figure from it, the pale man. He is
fun.
Something else. Yeah.
Perhaps my favorite YouTube name in quite a while, Sorta Rican Showcasing, says, "How about sci-fi horror?" And Maurice the Beast, $1. Thank you. Again, sci-fi horror that's an interesting question.
Alien is the first thing that comes to mind.
I would call Alien more horror. What about something like Annihilation? That's kind of,
that has some definite horrifying moments.
Yeah, but it's for the most part, it's a sci-fi movie. It just has 2 or 3 scenes that are just...
Yeah.
Nothing like a bear without a face screaming. That's...
Yeah, and the weird wormy intestines, that was...
Body horror. It's got a bunch of everything, that movie.
Yeah.
That one chick seemed to be cool with it. She had leaves coming out of her. I'm at one with nature now, I guess.
This is me now. This is my life.
Upgrade.
I'd even throw in The Thing.
Yeah.
Because I guess that's an alien, technically.
Yeah, that's more
In
of like
my
a
opinion,
mystery,
that-
too.
yeah.
Like, they're just trying to figure out,
That could even be psychological. Who can I trust? Who can I not?
Oh, sure.
Oh yeah, the paranoia is really palpable in that. And then you have all the expressive claymation stuff on top. I tried introducing someone to that, though. That was his first horror movie, and he just laughed all the way through. I was so inspired.
Oh, it hurts, doesn't it?
Dare you?
When you
Little
try
bit,
to
yeah.
introduce somebody to something and they laugh all the way through. Nothing like
This
Die
was
Hard.
John Carpenter's The Thing. It wasn't
Yeah.
Bane saying...
This is a Citizen Kane of horror, sir.
I showed her Die Hard and she laughed and questioned the police, so I'm never going to let that go. Nor will Felix in the chat. Felix says you're crazy.
I plead the fifth. I'm just a third party. Hello.
So Shaun says Finding Nemo is my gateway into horror.
Oh yeah, the mild peril at the beginning.
Yeah, mild peril. What do you work for the MPAA?
That's what it says. Yeah, that's what it says on the back of the box. Mild peril.
Involving teens.
Might be slightly frightening to some fish.
Yes.
Jesus. John
Yeah,
Kyle
especially-
Stanton 5 in the super chat says, Dice, your smile can end wars.
Wow.
I could work with that.
Zico, how come you never say stuff like that to me?
Because I'm not paying you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because money's involved.
Does Jurassic Park count as sci-fi? What would you call that? Is that more action?
That's an interesting... Dino and I hit that topic a couple of weeks ago in 1001. It's a lot of everything, isn't it? It's an action, it's an adventure, it's a sci-fi,
Yeah.
it is technically a horror. I mean, I don't know who isn't
Technically, yes.
scared of some giant...
You've got something like the Terminator, which is
Well, what
again a
happened?
little bit of everything. Ooh,
I didn't do it.
Nope. All right. So
wasn't me.
so we're not gonna keep the going off of that hitch streak up. I don't know what happened, but hopefully everybody's okay. We're all good.
musical chairs. That's all it is.
Yeah,
Do not be alarmed. Do not adjust your television
my
set.
internet hiccuped. I don't know if that was everybody else's.
I saw a flash of light. I don't know what happened. Where am I?
So Gory says not much different than Godzilla. It has giant monsters.
Giant lizards.
Yeah, reptiles,
Eating people,
non-mammals. Well, Godzilla doesn't eat people. Godzilla
Oh,
just steps on them and fucks shit up.
Yeah.
Just maims the city. Yeah.
Felix 199 in the super chat says, Emily, your smile can end wars.
Thank you, Felix. Somebody finally said it. Joking.
Emily, your face can end smile. Wait, no, never mind.
Who's sleeping on the couch? I got confused.
Oh, the
No, it's not
birds!
me.
Skyman, that's a really good one because the birds is all over the place. I've heard people call the birds hokey. I've heard people call the birds horrifying.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think of the birds?
It's daylight horror, so I can see people being confused. It's not the typical, being stalked in the woods at night kind of thing.
I can see
Yeah.
everything. This is bullshit.
Yeah.
I can see the birds coming at her. What are you doing? Yeah, no, I can kind of see that. And that's actually the point I never really thought about, which is, lights on. Maybe people look at it like, that's not horror. I can see everything just fine. Turn the lights off. Oh, God. There's a clown over there. Shit.
Ben Grimm, $2 in the super chat. CP, your smile can start wars. Thank you, Ben. I agree heavily.
That's accurate.
Terminator had horror elements, says Jen Grimbles. I would agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
a stalk and kill, that movie. I mean,
I don't know.
Is
Do you
like-
find Arnie's Terminator more frightening or the T-1000?
are you talking about from 2?
Yeah.
I don't know. Arnold Schwarzenegger's pretty creepy.
Yeah, but he's always pretty creepy.
True, yes.
Yeah, he's a bit more imposing a figure in one than. I mean, it's the sequel, the T-1000. He's just more, adaptable, quite literally. So there's a bit of something lost there. I mean, when he, I mean, they do off-screen kills, I think, in 2, where the first one he's just killing Sarah Connors left and right. Dino, 199 CP Smile can end wars. Thank you, Dino.
Yes, thank you, Dino.
I would say your check's in the mail, but you just used super chat to say that, so
It's okay, you'll send him a cookie. It's all right.
Yeah, we can do
what
that.
kind of cookie.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to have oatmeal in it.
Jen says more the second one. So first Terminator's horror, Danny Nightmare says.
I feel like there's some crossover with action horror that makes it more approachable for kids.
I can see that. Shit blows up and it's kind of scary.
Yeah. Something with a little bit of an adventure subplot. Like I'm sure Gory's covered these in her stream. Stuff like Hocus Pocus or something where there's a bit of, a little bit of a threat, some danger, but it's kind of fun too. That's,
Goonies, Monster Squad, a lot of those Stranger Things-esque stuff.
Oh yeah, Stranger Things is a more recent one. That's got everyone on board.
John Costin, $2. What does the Air Force know about wars? I'm out. There's some armed services dick swinging, I think, in the chat. Good job, gents. Thank you. So, Dice, I don't know if we spoke about it, but we definitely brought it up off air. Gremlins was one of the movies that you attributed to your start, and that's a movie that I think kind of fits everything. Like, I mean, kids can watch that movie and still be a little scary.
It'll introduce, I think, the idea of, well, it's funny. So you have that, which is automatically, I think, to some attributed to kid-friendly. But then you bring in these, at times, horrendous monsters who quite literally kill people. So around Christmas, Merry Christmas. I think that is a good one. I know a couple people have mentioned Killer Clowns, which, by the way, another one my parents showed me. I have a lot of scarring involving my parents, but I did not like that one initially.
Really?
It's funny now, but then, see, I had a phobia way back, which was essentially things coming down from Earth and just, we can't do shit. So that didn't help. Now, of course, I'm like, all right, yeah.
Don't watch the day after.
Did you ever see Chris's? That was like
not yet.
That's the gorier version of Gremlins, basically.
Oh, yeah, and they're from space.
Little balls of teeth.
It's not that I don't like Gremlins. It's just I don't remember it. I remember basically the speech about Santa Claus. That was the bit that fucked me up the most. The idea of finding a corpse in the chimney.
Exactly. Me too. Honestly, me too.
Let's kill all the child.
Shit.
Exactly.
Well, to kind of sidestep from Gremlins, Krampus just recently, the 2015 Krampus, not any of the uncorked versions. Shout out to Danny and Gory with their extensive coverage of the Krampus blank series.
Yeah.
Oh,
definitely go check that out.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the Michael Dougherty, the director of Trick or Treat. I just fucked it up. That version, which is scary yet kind of fun. I don't know. Yeah,
definitely.
I don't know
Something about Christmas and monsters. I don't know.
Yeah, I've covered it on this channel, that one, and also some of the inferior sequels. Spin-offs, whatever you want to call them.
Which, if people want a complete story of Braggart and Killjoy, it all starts with that review, the Krampus review, right? That's where.
Oh, really?
Lilacs.
Yeah, I think. I think you're right.
I should write your subreddit. I think you're right. Okay.
Sorry.
So send fan club messages to me, and I'll be sure to verify.
But yeah, it's a good comedy horror. It's got style. I don't know. It's got good kills, good fucking characters. Not just Mr. Crampo, but
practical
also
effects too. Yeah.
Yeah.
A nice blend.
That Jack in the Box thing. Ugh, he was my favorite.
Yeah, when his mouth like opened after like he opens his mouth and then it just like unhinges
Predator
another
style
set. Yeah,
toy
yeah.
for the child. Yeah.
The adorable little cookies that are far from adorable, but
Gingerbread.
Get away from it.
I also wanted to talk about the super mainstream horrors, the ones that get butts in seats, basically, that everyone talks about, even if they're not into the horror genre. So some things I have are like Cloverfield or the Saw, Final Destination franchises, Paranormal Activity, that kind of thing. The Conjuring universe. There seem to be a bunch of franchises, basically, something you keep coming back to.
Yeah, I think that's repeat viewing for people. I don't know if that would be a gateway.
You don't think so?
Like I would assume gateway. Like if you're trying to convince somebody or win somebody over with the genre. I don't know I don't know if Saw, first of all, would be one of the movies. It's like, okay, this is what you like. Well, then there's not much further to go to Serbian film, and you've finished.
A little cannibal holocaust.
Yeah, like Jaws. Jaws is a drama, a thriller, and it's got some elements to it that. I see. I'm trying to figure out whether or not I think gore matters. If oh look, too much of my face. If like gore matters for horror, like if you're trying to introduce somebody to horror, how much should gore or like the rating, a PG-13 R, how much should that matter?
Maybe it depends on the person. Some people are extraordinarily squeamish, so maybe that wouldn't be the best way to get them into things. Maybe psychological horror would be better for them, or action horror, something we've already discussed. But the I don't know, the really mainstream shit tends to be just kind of stalk and slash type fare, at least as far as I can tell.
Which is strange because like it seems like for the most part people get induced with something like The Thing and or the more broader stuff. Yeah. Alien again is another one that's it's a like we said before, it's a sci-fi, it's a horror. It almost feels like you gotta trick somebody, you gotta bait and switch them with some other genre and then like, oh well, if you enjoyed this, here check out Halloween.
I would even kind of like to throw in something that someone else mentioned. Actually, a couple good ideas there. Beetlejuice, The Craft, and Fright Night.
Oh yeah, those are all really good.
I feel are nice. I mean, The Craft, along with werewolves, I was also very much, and still am very much into the whole witch thing. So I found that and didn't even consider it a horror and watched it repeatedly. Yeah,
I have a theory that every girl goes through some kind of witchy phase. I don't know if men do so much.
I'm gonna stick a needle in him.
Maybe if they watch the what's the other one, the Craft but for dudes, the one with the
Covenant?
The homoerotic.
That's the one. Yeah, that's the one.
Which, by the way,
let's walk around shirtless and then throw white globs at each other. The whole movie.
Wait, do they really throw white globs at each other?
At the climax, yeah.
At the climax, we got a winner.
I didn't. God damn it.
They looked globular.
Yeah.
Gooey.
Yeah, a little bit.
And someone else also mentioned practical magic. I think that's not really horror to me, but it's in the witch thing.
That could be a gateway drug to witches.
Yes. Yeah. And then it goes on from there.
I'm sure that's its own subgenre, probably.
Yeah. Feel-good witch movies. I don't know.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Frighteners, Jen says. That's another one. I don't know if you guys have seen that. we're audible. You don't have to show hands.
I know, but I'd like to do it. The Frighteners, actually, that is another one. That one was the first horror movie that I consider to be my absolute favorite. And I found it because Michael J. Fox. I'm a fan of Michael J. Fox, and my first Peter Jackson film. and
Oh,
I
wow.
liked it. I really liked it.
Yeah,
So,
and it's kind of safe. It's a little silly. I mean, it depends on what kind of mood you like. I could see people totally hating it and thinking it's too over the top, but there's horror elements and there's fun to it.
Mm.
So I think that's part of it too. Like if you're trying to ease somebody into this genre, I guess I'll keep saying it. Like elements of a different genre kind of really help.
yeah. I even find comedy is a nice buffer
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
to bring in. So,
Yeah.
Something like Evil Dead. Maybe not the first one. The first one doesn't have that much comedy per se, but
Yeah. The
second and
maybe not
third.
intentional comedy.
Yeah, I mean, the buckets of blood, that's kind of funny.
I don't know if you brought it up, but it was brought up in the chat a couple times. Shaun of the Dead, which
Oh, yeah,
which
brilliant movie.
yeah, you can go in there for the horror and come out thinking. Oh, excuse me. You can go in there for the comedy and come out thinking, well, that was kind of neat because both elements of that movie are really strong. The comedy is very strong, and the horror is really strong in Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah.
Somebody brought up Monster House. Corey said Monster House, which is technically a children's movie.
Yeah, it used to be a guilty
Yes.
pleasure. I mean, Steve Buscemi's in it, so it has that going for it.
That's horror alone.
Ah, Steve
The Steve
Buscemi.
Buscemi fan club will be in contact shortly.
Boy Meets World Halloween special. Interesting.
Yeah, well, Halloween specials is another good thing. I mean,
Simpsons Treehouse of Horror, classic.
there were literal VHS tapes that were like compilation of Halloween specials that my parents had recorded, the early version of pirating. And that's what my brother and I would watch on repeat every year for October. And there's Hocus Pocus. That's excellent. I know it's not a great movie, but it's fun.
A lot of talk about virgins in that movie, surprisingly.
Yeah, it's well,
Never too early to tell kids about that.
guess not. I never ask questions. He's a virgin. Yeah. all right.
So Shaun says, "What about Final Destination?" Which you kind of crossed over a little bit there, Emily, when you brought up your introduction. Final Destination
Yeah.
is the opposite of what we're saying. I mean, that's more gore than anything. Like that's just like crazy death scenes. And I
Yeah.
guess it's a backdoor of sorts. If you like that, then it's a different type of emotion. I think.
Yeah, I imagine it's the kind of thing teenagers want to see because it's slightly taboo. It's gory as fuck, but it's also kind of safe. Dice, do you have a cat in the background?
Yeah, oh, there you are. That would be Skimble. He
Aw.
likes to have access to my doors. My door was open. Did you close it? Really? And he's just looking at the knob like. But his food bowl is in here, so if I don't allow him access, I'll tear the door down. So
Yeah. How could you let me starve like this?
yes, truly he's suffering. I'm my own little Garfield. It's great.
Sorry, I should not be steering this live stream. Horror, 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 cat! Horror, horror.
Hey, it works. I'm in the chat. Cat. Yes. Dog. Cool.
Yeah, now they're talking about cats. Garfield.
Glory has a point. It is a little bit safe and mainstream, but also more on the what's the word? Splattery side. So
Tear him up,
Yeah.
see some guts. You know.
Mhm.
G popcorn. Come on now.
and it has a unique villain. Death itself is coming for you. You don't often see something like that.
Yeah.
It can make you afraid of genuinely harmless things in real life. I was like that for a while. I was afraid of, I don't know, unattended farm equipment for ages. Not just farm equipment, bowling alley. I don't know, anything. It makes you afraid of your surroundings. And
Yeah.
it's kind of ingenious when you think about it.
Driving behind a car with a bunch of logs.
Oh yeah, definitely that one.
Don't use the fire escape.
Shaun, I was referring to the setup to the kills to the people who are not familiar with the plot. Yeah. GMV TV says television doesn't really do good Halloween episodes anymore, and it's a pretty decent point. I can't think of the last Halloween special that I was kind of fired up about?
No,
Yeah.
I got nothing.
yeah, a Simpsons Halloween special, if that.
I guess they're still running, but is anyone watching The Simpsons anymore?
I've never started.
No?
I'm sorry. Listen, that Pokemon, my grandmother, bless her, she was like, no, you're not watching that.
Did Pokemon ever do a Halloween thing?
I don't think so. Who am I to answer this question?
I'm not asking you directly. I just...
No, I know you.
Probably not.
Mark Lee, From Dusk Till Dawn. That's an interesting movie because it's two halves of a movie. Have you guys not seen From Dusk Till Dawn? Oh, wow.
Is it a Western?
No. So, see, all right, so go in thinking it's a Tarantino written movie and only that, because it's quite interesting. Especially for your
is that
sake.
the If You Find a Cheaper Pussy movie?
It. That is that movie.
Yep.
Chicken pussy, cow pussy, hairy pussy, stinky pussy.
Chicken pussy, yeah. That's what I know it from.
I know little things. Tom Savini, Selma Hayek,
good old Tom Savini.
snake things.
Yeah, it's like so many different. It's like the perfect blend of like camp, it's a lot of different things. I really recommend it, even if just to know that it's not your thing. Just to know. Just to
say you've watched it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen Selma Hayek do a striptease with a snake.
Yep. That's sold.
That was a scene, yeah.
That was a thing.
So Danny says some Pokemon were ghosts.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay.
Some Doctor Who episodes could be considered the creepiest fucking thing. Like The Empty Child, or what's the one with the stone angel things? The Weeping Angels?
Yes.
I don't know. It's got a few not villains,
creatures.
Yeah, that are shit your pants terrifying. But
Yeah,
I've heard.
British television. I don't know any of that stuff. I've boycotted that entire everything.
the whole country.
Gravity Falls is a perfect getaway. I'm not familiar.
Yeah, I've never watched it, but I can see why. They deal with some creatures, some kinda child-safe horror elements. There are some like Halloween in July episodes, I think. They carve watermelons.
That's a animated show, right? Right.
I think so.
Usually
Yeah.
on Cartoon Network, I think.
Yeah, they're a good friend. The only reason I know of that show is because they're good friends with the guys who do Rick and Morty, which I'm an absolute fan of. Which I would suggest the Scary Terry episode, but it's better if you know Nightmare on Elm Street. So, that wouldn't be a good start.
Oh, we only have about 10 minutes left.
Okay,
The time has flown.
Skyman says Bram Stoker's Dracula, which I always say Bram Stoker, but people correct me like I'm being serious. That's a good point.
Actually, it's Stoker.
Buffy, which I have not seen, but I have heard. They live on a hellmouth, don't they? Isn't that the premise? Yeah.
Yes.
Speaking of this crawl runner, they have an ongoing series which trickles back and forth between Queenie's channel, Horror Addicts, Gory's channel, and Freaky Girls Live, where they cover lots of Buffy-related stuff. So, as we're ill-educated, perhaps go check those out to be pro-educated. Buffy's perfect, the movie and the show. The movie, from what I remember, is a little bit campier. But you digest. Yes, thank you, Felix. People always correct me on that. It's I digress. I'm like, oh, sorry.
Is it really?
Oh my God, I never knew.
They tackle half a season each show.
Nice. Queenie's here. Hey, Queenie.
What's up, Queenie?
Queenie's up next.
Yeah, no pressure. Start getting your shit together.
Be prepared.
Any minute now.
Hannibal was a good show, says Sandra.
I agree.
Oh yeah, I haven't. I've seen one episode. I don't know. I think my favorite Hannibal related. My favorite thing he's been in was still Red Dragon.
Oh, regarding Hannibal.
Yes.
Which is a remake of the first one, which is slipping my mind. Oh God, Michael Mann. What the hell's the name of the movie?
Man-Eater.
Yes.
Manhunter. Not
all
Man-Eater.
of the both.
Man something.
We back to music
What we
videos
do with
again.
him.
just man.
Also, I'm sorry if you were referring to the movie Hannibal, because I was talking about the series.
So Skyman, back to the 80s. The 80s seemed to be the most ambitious and creative decade. Skyman says The Lost Boys.
Mm-hmm.
I like that one, yeah.
Yeah, I think 1987 was probably the best year for horror, which always makes CP roll his eyes. But I won't go into it here.
Because Hellraiser and Lost Boys and...
Yeah, there's a bunch of 1987 films that were good for horror, I feel.
All the shitty big three movies. Friday 7, Halloween 5, right? Aren't those that year?
Yeah, not every good horror movie came out in that year. There was The Thing, that was 82.
Mm-hmm.
So
a lot of people would say 82 is a really good year.
Probably
I just
is.
say the 80s.
Yeah, just take the whole decade.
Yes.
Then you get to have Back to the Future, too, just for the sake of... Because it's the 80s.
And Oingo Boingo, yay.
What is Oingo Boingo?
Oh, it's a band that used to be fronted by Danny Elfman.
Oh.
Quite interesting.
I'll have to check that out.
Yes.
Tim
I
Burton did a
recommend their
lot
music videos.
to bring me over to the world of horror. He had a more gothy sort of take on it, but...
Thoughts on American Horror Story?
It's pretty good from what I've seen, which is not much, but...
I've seen the first season and the third.
I think
because witches.
I think the first season's really good because each episode in the first season kind of takes its own little inspiration, and it's a house. Technically it's a haunted house, but they kind of throw homages to a bunch of different genres or different films in the genre, should I say?
I like that each season is kind of self-contained and has its own distinct theme and
kind of like an anthology, really.
Yeah, begins
I
and
love
ends.
anthologies. So yeah.
Now they're talking about music. Jason Lives was 86. Yep. Dead. What?
82 is the best. Sorry, not sorry. No. That's your opinion.
Yeah. What happened? Does she still have the greatest smile?
He may be passed out.
Oh, so many child-friendly movies that creep horror, like Charlie, the boat scene in the Chocolate Factory. Return to Oz, the entire fucking movie. I don't think I've seen that.
Yeah.
I didn't even know it existed until people started talking about their trauma.
Yeah,
so,
I'm not familiar. I gotta be honest.
It's a lot darker than. It's a completely different movie tonally. Just forget what you know about the Wizard of Oz going into it.
Yeah, there's no dancing down the yellow brick road here. Okay.
No.
It has Fairuza Balk in it though, so.
Oh,
a very, very, very young Fairuza Balk.
It's that recent.
Pre The Craft, I suppose.
Kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, she was a child in that one, so.
Felix,
what's she up to these days?
199 in the super chat. Still has a smile to stop wars. Kiss ass.
I will not be sending you a button.
The original is creepy though. Yeah, the flying monkeys definitely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what?
And the way the witch dies.
I was scared of the Tin Man.
Really?
Oh,
okay. Yeah, I don't know why. It was just this, like when they initially find him and they're trying to, for lack of a better way of phrasing it, oil him up.
Just get some lube in your joints real quick.
Yeah. The way he moves, I was just like, no. Of course, I was really young when I saw that. So.
Just the idea of getting stuck in place can be a bit much.
Ugh.
That too.
Yeah, like Buried with Ryan Reynolds. Yes. He's stuck in a coffin for an entire movie.
I like that he calls the emergency services and he's like, yeah, hi, I'm buried.
Just,
okay.
Metal detector might be good. I'm wearing a belt.
Where are you? Underground. No, but where,
what can you see? Wood?
Yes, wood darkness. Alas, the days before GPS.
Did somebody bring up Dark Crystal? Danny just said Dark Crystal is the darkest film.
Mm.
Yeah.
I've heard
I've never
things.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a couple of those 80s movies like Labyrinth. I've heard that that's a mixture of shit. I've never seen it.
The,
Labyrinth is quite macabre. I don't know if I'd call it horrifying, but it's...
That depends on how close they zoom in on David Bowie's pants.
Yeah, that it explains a lot about me personally. The trauma. My grandmother had childhood. Oh yeah? Secret of Nim? Definitely scary. There's one, there's a film I've been meaning to watch called Philly Day or something like that. Watership Down.
Oh god.
That's Nightmare Fuel.
Not the puppies.
I wouldn't call it necessarily horror, it's just dark.
Yeah.
So we're about ready to wrap up before you're headed over to Kweeny Todd in the following hour. Dice, what do you got coming up on your channel in the near future?
I recently switched my content just a little bit to focus more on like media. So more reviews. There hopefully will be a lot more reviews. I have a review that I am planning on making as soon as I can of Rock and Roll Nightmare. And if you know what that movie is, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be real interesting. I've written it and everything. It's maybe a longer review because I'm going to be tearing the absolute shit out of it. But that's all I've really got so far.
Awesome.
Just my usual shit.
Great. Everybody check that out when it
Link
comes
down
out.
below. Emily, why don't you plug whatever the hell you got coming on deck?
Well, the next one I'm going to review, which has been requested a few times, is maybe technically not horror. It's The Exorcist 3, and I'll be talking about that and comparing it a little bit to the first movie in the trilogy. I guess there's sequel out even after that, but you know. That's what I'm doing next. How about you?
Well, I think it is definitely horror related. It's another episode of Who Would Like That, and it is Audition, which if you watch the first 80% of that movie, you could say this isn't a horror movie. But the last 20% probably are. So that's what we got coming up on deck. Be sure to head over to Queenie's channel, and thank you, Emily, for letting me produce and steer the ship here on your channel, and thank you, Dice, for joining us.
Thank you for asking me.
Thank you.
We'll see you guys the next time, and here, enjoy this little promo to close.
You're watching the Creepy Channel Crawl, 28 hours of horror live streams featuring some of the creepiest channels on YouTube. Up next is Kweeny Todd. Click on the link in the description and continue the crawl. And for the full schedule, check out the Creepy Channel